What's going on, guys? Detached here, and welcome back to Destiny. Yesterday, Bungie dropped their Destiny 2 reveal trailer, and it was absolutely epic. There are a ton of details hidden throughout this trailer, so in proper fashion, I thought it best to break things down scene by scene. Let's address the very large question right off the bat, and that is, what's going on with the Traveler? It's glowing orange, and it looks to have some kind of force field around it. Could this be the Cabal putting a force field around it to block its light from us? Or could it be us trying to protect the Traveler after it sustained massive damage from the invasion? I personally think it's the Cabal, but that makes more sense once you read the synopsis of the story. Humanity's last safe city has fallen to an overwhelming invasion force led by Gaul, the imposing commander of the brutal Red Legion. He has stripped the city's guardians of their power and forced the survivors to flee. You will venture to mysterious, unexplored worlds of our solar system to discover an arsenal of weapons and devastating new combat abilities. To defeat the Red Legion and confront Gaul, you must reunite humanity's scattered heroes, stand together, and fight back to reclaim our home. So at the very least, I think the Cabal have somehow stripped us of our subclasses. I think we may have part of the campaign focus on reattaining new subclasses like we did for our third subclass in the Taken King. This could be the explanation as to why we are losing our progress. Moving on to other portions of this shot, we see a broken section of the wall on the left-hand side. I don't think the wall has done much good for us, as we saw the breach in the Cosmodrome, and now the breach in the last city invasion. Could it be time for an upgrade of how we build the walls? What good is a wall if you have a Cabal ship fleet that can just fly over the wall and invade the city? And as you can see here, we have one of the Red Legion Cabal ships, but we will get a more detailed shot of these ships later in the trailer. As we can see from this shot, there are a lot of Cabal ships still heading into the city, and there are multiple buildings on fire, and there is smoke absolutely everywhere. This is the next place I want to pause, as we see Commander Zavala giving a speech, but we are just outside the city, and as you can see in the background, there is the Traveler and the wall. We also see a ruined tower in the background, which I think we get a better view of what is going on, and I do think the Traveler is having its light blocked somehow. But the most interesting thing in this shot is Lord Shaxx standing down below Commander Zavala. Plus, we can see there are a lot of guardians from many different factions that are shown, but one very special is an Exo without his helmet on the left-hand side of the screen, branding some Queen's Wrath armor. We get to see a lot of the Queen's Wrath gear throughout this trailer. It's very curious to see why they are this far from the city. It's possible they had to retreat during the attack, or possibly they got separated from Cayde 6 and Ikora Rey. Here we see Cayde 6 and Ikora Rey standing in the rubble of the city, so maybe we will get some missions between Commander Zavala and Cayde that take us in between the outskirts and the middle of the city. The main thing I wanted to point out in this shot is the Guardian on the left with the Suros shotgun. It looks like the weapon foundries from Year 1 will be making their way into Destiny 2, and if they do, I really hope we get to see a lot of diversity in the weapons. Here in this shot, we get to see the two Guardians that Cayde is talking to, and they both have Queen's Wrath gear on. I personally think the Queen is going to be playing a much larger role in Destiny 2, as it's been hinted at in the Grimoire. Here is the first explosion from the attack on the city. This perhaps shows us where the attack began, as this is the giant table in the Hall of Guardians where the Mentors are. Next, we see a great shot of a couple of the new enemy types. First being what looks like the Phalanx in the foreground, but it looks like they have a new type of shield that has some type of energy field deployed on it. In the background, we can see what looks like blades from a new enemy type called the Cleavers, which look to be a more aggressive and melee based. Here, we see another shot of that same Phalanx with his shield compacted, and I am very curious as to why this one phalanx is giving our 3 mentors such a fit in battle. But that is foreseen for when the game drops. Curious to find out though. Here we get a much better shot of the Red Legion Cleaver, which look like they will be the ogres of the Cabal race. They look to be very large and will probably be very hard to kill, so you're probably going to have to sync up with a fire team to get these bad boys down. Now, this is probably my favorite part of the trailer, as we get to see a completely different enemy type. Every single enemy in Destiny so far has been bipedal, meaning they stand up on 2s. They fight and they might look different, they fight different, or they might even have different weapons, but they all have very similar motions, and it became very repetitive. This dragon beast looking type enemy is much different than anything we're used to, and they seem to use all 4s, and perhaps they charge at you. They have a large horn at the top of their head, and their claws, body, and head all have some type of armor fitted to them. It almost looks like the Cabal have militarized these beasts to take them into battle. Here we see a shot of the tower being destroyed. So the Cabal have somehow been gathering intel about the tower, somehow, and knew exactly where to strike. This is very curious to me, as we have never seen the Cabal anywhere close to the city, or that we know of have even known that we had a city to attack. So it leads me to believe we have a traitor amongst the ranks of the Guardians. Here's the comedic part of the trailer, where it tries to explain why we won't be carrying our inventory over into Destiny 2 as we see this weapons cache being completely destroyed. Here, we get a fantastic shot of the Red Legion ships. We also see smaller fighter ships engaging them in battle. So here's to hoping we finally get some space battles, so we'll just have to wait and see. I'm very excited, and hopefully we will be able to finally hop in a spaceship and go blow some stuff out of the sky. And here is Commander Gary. And that being said means we have a raid boss that has been confirmed. As a lot of the Destiny community, they are all speculating Gaul will be our first raid boss. Here we see citizens of the last city stumbling out of the rubble from the invasion on the city. It looks to be completely destroyed, there's smoke everywhere, so I'm sure there's been a lot of deaths, which is very unfortunate, and hopefully the Guardians can turn this around. This also brings up a good question that since the tower isn't going to be a social hub, and the city doesn't look like it will be a social hub as it's currently under attack, where will our new social hub be? We do have the reef, so we could be going back there, and it's possible that's where they will reintroduce the story with the Queen. But it could also be as simple as us retreating to a different part of Earth for our new social hub. So I am curious to see how they introduce that in Destiny 2. One of the things to keep in mind is that Destiny 2 will be a much larger game than Destiny 1 in both size and story. So this idea of 1 or 2 social spaces might be a thing of the past, as we might be looking at new worlds, new social spaces, and within those worlds that we get to go discover. Here, we get a great shot of a Guardian helping a couple of citizens. This is one of my favorite parts of the trailer, so I hope we get a better picture of this within the coming weeks. Here, we get to see what looks to be new armor and possibly a new Crucible set. At first, I thought this was a new Monarchy, but looking closer, we see the swords on the right-hand wrist, and a really cool looking helmet. Yes, I really want this set of armor. The weapon he is holding is some type of Amalon auto rifle, very close to the Hardlight it seems, but with a very long stock. And then there was this line. I actually was super excited because we will get a lot of loot. With that last shot of the trailer, the music is going to be amazing. It was so good to listen to in the trailer. I can't wait for this game to come out. I just know this game is going to be epic, and I really do think it's going to be what we wanted out of Destiny 1 and then some. But guys, that brings us to the end of our worldwide reveal trailer for Destiny 2. We're going to be getting our first gameplay reveal stream on May 18th, and that is less than 2 months away, guys, and I cannot wait. The hype is super real. I'm so excited. Of course, you can expect much more Destiny 2 coverage as this information becomes available right here on the channel, so be sure to subscribe to stay caught up to Destiny 2. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed this content, and be sure to let me know in the comments below if I missed any little details so we can continue those conversations. Thanks for watching, guys. You all stay awesome, and I will see you next time.